We honour the First Peoples of Australia, their unbroken ties to Aboriginal law, culture and customs. We respect the traditional owners of the lands and waters we inhabit and acknowledge their elders past and present. We celebrate the enrichment of Aboriginal communities around Australia. We recognise the lasting impact of colonisation and dispossession. We salute those who have fought for the rights of First Peoples. Their legacy is our guiding light today and always.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt World. You are Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening to you. Hi, I am Keely, aka the Kickster. Tonight, I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, the Kulin nation of the Wurundjeri people. Sovereignty was never ceded. Always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. I'm very sorry about that. I had a bit of a brain fart, so, but anyway, we have a massive show tonight. We're going to kick off the show with Blurt Around the World. If this is your first time tuning in, lucky you. We've got lots on tonight. Twitter back in action in Brazil. Apparently they banned Alienhead, aka Musk, from Brazil. And because basically he was posting disinformation on his site and they were not happy about it. So apparently he's paid a few fines. He's coming back, but we'll delve into that a bit more. Things from the 90s that could be worth gold now. Do you have a VHS or a beta not DVD, what am I talking about? Video, I think it's called a video cassette, such a long time ago. If you have one of those under your bed, it could be worth a fortune. We're going to have a little chat about that as well. Is Albo being ableist in Parliament? Well, I really hope not, considering he was on a show called The Assembly that was all about autistic journalists at the time. So we really hope that is not the case. There's a new film coming out called War Game, and it's all predicated on a stolen election and what the aftermath is. There's certain places around you can see that. It's not for wide distribution, I don't believe, at the moment, but it's well worth having a look at. So I've got a little tidbit on that. I've just got to find the video, which I shall do. And on pole position tonight, which is all about where Kamala Harris sits at the moment. We want to find out if the polls are real, do they actually mean anything, and where she sits at the moment, and is there any chance that Donald Dickhead can actually, be president of the US again? We really hope not. And also we'll find out if she is going on the Joe Rogan show, because apparently she may be, which will be interesting. We'll have a little bit of chat about that as well. And Wency's going to talk about a USA election whisperer. So we'll find out about that. And on Indelible Indigenous tonight, I always love saying that, Indelible Indigenous, I'm going to blurt about the Indigenous Peoples Day in America. It used to be called Columbus Day, but as we know, Columbus did a lot of bad things to Indigenous people over there in America, as many English and Spanish explorers did in the time. And so we've changed many of those days, but unfortunately in Australia, we've still got Australia Day. But anyway, we won't go there. It's Indigenous People Day in America, so I am actually going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm wearing an Indigenous Peoples T-shirt, if you watch this on the vid. It says, down here, it says, Every Child Matters. And it's all, it's a community in North America, all about how their stolen generation was taken from them as well. And this is a T-shirt, part of raising funds for that. Okay, and Wednesday's going to talk about Neville Bonner. I think we've spoken about Neville Bonner on the show before, but you can't get enough of Neville, so I'm more than happy to chat about him again. Finish off the show. Let's get technical. I'm talking about Google has just come out with another AI product called AI Notebook, LM, I think it is, which is language model. And you can make basically an instance podcast from just feeding it a bunch of information. But how good is it to listen to? Well, I just so happened to feed it one of our podcasts, and I made a very, very small MP3 that we can listen to and just see what we think about someone else doing the new Blurt. maybe they're very good. Who knows? So we're just about to find out. Before we do, we are going to bring in a Wensai in a Chiang Mai. Take it a Wensai. You got to wait for the fans, I'm sure. It's just oh, come on now. It's boring. Get on with it.
Yes. All right. Hopefully they'll settle down soon enough. But yes, it is true that I am coming to you from Chiang Mai still. But yes, enjoying our time up here. How is life down there in Melbourne?
It's very good, but I cannot get used to you not acknowledging country. It's really throwing my timing. I've got to tell you. I just can't get used to it.
Maybe after 5 months, it'll then be okay. You'll settle in and you go, oh yeah, it doesn't say that anymore.
That's true. Absolutely. That's right. And then you've only got a month left and you'll be back here and you're saying it again. And we go, oh, God, it's gone back to that again. But anyway, talking about, it's gone back to that again. Twitter back in action in Brazil. What do you got, Wincy? What do you got?
What? Around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world.
So a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, we spoke about Twitter being thrown out and banned in Brazil due to disinformation, like you said earlier, and content, and allowing the platform to allowing certain accounts to be allowed on the platform, which was propagating all this rubbish. Musk chucked a hissy fit and didn't comply with the legal laws over there, so they got banned. That was just over a month ago, and now he has finally decided, hey, I better comply because we're losing customers to Blue Sky and other platforms. And so they've now appointed a local legal representative, because they pretty much closed their office a few weeks ago in defiance. But they've so reappointed a legal representative in the country. They've paid the fines that they were
accumulated.
Yeah, accumulated, exactly.
How big were those fines, Wincy?
I haven't been able to find that out, but it was from memory, it was almost $1 million a day.
Yeah, I think it was definitely in the millions, tens of millions. Yeah. I thought maybe even up to 100 million.
Possibly, he can afford it. He's
got
the money.
Yeah, he's got a few billion.
Pocket.
Yeah. He's losing $2 billion a year though, apparently.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me. Still valued quite a lot. So with his various ventures he's into.
Well, he paid 44. I think it's valued at 30.
There you go. So that's why he's desperate to get as much eyeballs onto Twitter and get the ad streaming revenue coming in. So he's back in town, or the country per se. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but hopefully it doesn't go back to its old ways over there, and hopefully we can do the same thing here with not just his platform, but other social media and governments being able to stipulate certain rules.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because we don't need any more misinformation. I don't know if you might not have got this over there. I don't know, but I can't remember. I think it was in Queensland. Yeah, it was in Queensland because it was Chris Minns. Chris Minns is your...
No, he's New South Wales.
Oh, he's New South Wales. Oh, yes. Wow. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm pretty sure that was in New South Wales then, which was... There was a mask, because they're always masked because they're just so tough. Group of guys, of course it's guys, that were, we fight back for the white man protest, some bullshit that they were doing. And apparently, as you can imagine, it was pretty Nazi-esque.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does New South Wales have the same rules, laws banning the Nazi salute and other things like that?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think Victoria is the only state that has banned that. I could be wrong, but I'm very happy to know that, and very happy to be in a state that has banned that. I mean, we get exactly. a bad rap on so many things, but I'm glad that's banned, definitely.
It's definitely a good thing to have.
Well, talking about things that were banned or you just don't have or you got rid of, etc. I ran into a little website and they were talking about a few things that you may have or may see, and I'm going to share a few of these. So I'm not going to share any audio, which is just going to share this, which is a Furby.
Oh, yes, Furbies.
And Furbies in the 90s, if you're a kid in the latter part of the decade, which you and I both were, if you happen to have an original Furby, apparently they could be sold for up to £100 and as much as £175.
What does that work out in Aussie dollars? Is that $2,000?
I feel that you're taking the piss there.
I am, because I know the pound or the sterling used to be quite strong to the dollar.
Yeah, no, it's a bit 1.5ish. It's nearly on par with the States, actually. I think.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a lot of difference. Yeah, it has really weakened, which is good coming from Australia on Australian dollars. Yeah, it's always worked out well for me because when I came over, it was really strong, so that was great. And then when I went back, it weakened, so that was awesome. Yep. So I bet on the right side.
So you're a predictor of the value of the sterling. So when it's bad, it's good to go over. When it's
That's true. That's true. But the problem is with my stock market, you just never know what's going to happen. You've got no idea at all. Mind you, though, a lot of people say that about the market nowadays. So
yeah, it's true.
No difference.
What other goodies from the 90s is worth gold these days?
We have got Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards apparently. Here we go. CNN reported in 2022 that the super rare 1999 Pokemon base set Shadowless first edition Holo Charizard card sold at auction for $420,000 US.
Jeez.
Can you believe that? That's just unbelievable.
That's a lot of coin.
The Harry Potter first edition. The first edition, they reckon, could fetch up to $30,000 to $50,000.
Was that released in the 90s? I thought that was the 2000s.
97.
97. Oh, there you
97. 97. What else we got? We got only 500 copies of that edition ever printed.
Right. Interesting.
Super Mario's game. Back in 2020, a sealed copy of the Super Mario Brothers 3 went for $156,000 at auction, according to CNET. The Verge reports an unused copy of the original game sold on collectibles for $2 million. What is wrong with these people? They've got far too much money. There is no doubt about that. Far too much money. Well, now this is interesting. This is interesting. So I will share this because I have all of these videos. So it's slightly self-indulgent.
Yeah, Toy Story, I see there. Dumbo.
Yep.
The Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Yep. The Lion King.
The animated movie.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got all of those.
On
and yeah. Oh no, great question. Oh yeah, what am I saying? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think we do. I thought we did, and I just thought about it. I don't think we do. I mean, DVD. I mean, most people don't have DVDs anymore. No, actually, no, I was thinking about it. No, you're right. Oh, hold on. No, they are DVDs.
They are DVDs?
No DVD. Can you part with those well-worn DVDs? So back in the 90s, before the arrival of whatever, the chances are, i.e. streaming platforms, YouTube, blah, 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 chances are they would have been well-worn because you wouldn't have watched The Lion King, Toy Story every chance they got. But who'd have thought 30 years later that those tapes could turn out to be money spinners? So I still think you're right. I don't think it's a DVD. Online reported back in 2023 that some classic films are going for five-figure sums on eBay, including a rare edition of 101 Dalmatians still in sealed packaging, which was sold for £15,000.
Wow.
It's not bad. It's not bad. See if we've got a couple of others here. We've got Beanie Babies. You got a Beanie Baby hanging about?
Oh, I think I know what the Beanie Babies are.
I'll show you what a Beanie Baby is. There you go. There's a Beanie Baby coming at you. That's a Beanie Baby. And what we got here is Flash the Dolphin or Legs the Frog. You could well net hundreds of pounds for it, while others such as Chef Robichon and the Mystic, the Unicorn, have previously sold for as much as $7,000.
I don't even know what those characters are.
No, I'm the same as you too. Oh. And the Tamagotchis. Do you remember the Tamagotchis?
Oh, yeah, definitely remember Tamagotchis.
Okay. Well, the Tamagotchi, Smithsonian Magazine reported in 2021 that a rare mobile Katsu Tamagotchi Plus from the era was sold for over $5,000, and other similar 90s one was sold for $1,000 each. So, now believe this one. Happy Meal Toys.
What?
So you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on this one, big time. You're going to miss out. A lot depends on whether you have the full set of some of the most valuable toys, of course. It says here that Mario figures from 1994 to 1998 could be worth £188 each. This is a McDonald's piece of plastic crap.
Wow.
So there you go. There you go. So yeah. So if you're listening and you've got any of those, get onto eBay and sell them and get some coin, and you'll be a happy camper.
Yeah, if you're a hoarder from the 90s,
yes,
go dig, because you might get some good coin.
Exactly right. Exactly right indeed. Over you, Winty.
Okay. Elbow.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, well, too many things, eh?
Yes. Not only, I'm sure he's shitting his dacks if he believes the polls in Australia, but he's not on doing well at the moment.
What's he done this time?
Oh, excuse me. Last week he was in Parliament because I think federal Parliament started last week again after a little hiatus. As usual, we all know that Parliament can get a bit schoolboyish banter and just shenanigans that they do, which I really hate anyway.
Yeah, well, nothing gets solved that way, does it really?
No, it doesn't. And just they start throwing names out at each other and stuff like that. And
Tanties and whatever.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of the Prime Minister of Australia throwing out a remark thinking it was a joke, when in fact it really deeply upset a lot of people. And I've got two short videos I'll show you what he said and then the reply from another politician. So let's see if I can get this right. This is playing. I think it takes a little while for it to come up. All right, so he basically called out the opposition I can't remember if it was targeted at a specific
unfortunately,
person.
that guy does have Tourette's. He's the biggest fuckwit you'll ever see in Parliament, ever.
But Tourette's doesn't mean... It means a lot of things. It doesn't mean... I think Tourette's is quite stereotyped. But calling out someone and calling them that they're behaving with as if they had Tourette's is very, very much ableist, because there's so many different forms of Tourette's. There's the swearing type that was made famous in some movies back in the 90s, which at the time people thought was funny, but when you look back and you go, no, it's not. People have got tics that constitutes having Tourette's, and sometimes it's a combination of both and things like that. So very much he apologized straight away, which is great, but he shouldn't have said it in the first place. And then
I think Wency, I think you'll find that that's lazy language.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you that he would have only meant it the way that probably 90% of people know it, which is just when you keep swearing all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough, but it's lazy language. And in this day and age, because we are just learning so much and so much is available to know, yes, he should have definitely used a different expression.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the guy he used the expression on is a shocker. But he should have used some other sort of expression. I don't know what, but I can understand where you're coming from totally.
Yeah.
I'd say you're more educated on it than he probably is.
Yeah. And considering, like you said in the intro at the very beginning of the show, that he was recently, and yes, admittedly it was recorded, but several months ago, he was on the ABC show called The Assembly, where he was interviewed by university students with disabilities. He, of all people, should have known that name calling is not on when talking to people, especially in this forum on Parliament that is recorded and it goes onto the Hansard record, so it's there forever. And he said this horrible thing. So I've got another quick video to play with a response from the Greens Senator Jordan Steele. So I'll just put that on now.
Yeah, and he will have a response.
What I find disappointing is, I think it was on election night when Albo won, that he promised that he was going to do politics differently, especially in the chamber. I have not seen that.
No, I agree with what you're saying, and also he has got such a horrible, divisive opposition to oppose, and it's a lot of no winning, because if he doesn't, I mean, I'm not in any way supporting that. That's terrible, and obviously Jordan Steele John will tell you that in a heartbeat. Yeah, and it is terrible. But he is correct. What he said was that there's so much education that needs to be done throughout the parliament. Well, he's 100% right, but it's not just there. I mean, you're really educated on this side. I'm not as educated on this side as you are. But I definitely don't support what he said. But I can just about guarantee you that 70% of Australia, or 75%, at least the amount of people that didn't vote for The Voice, wouldn't have thought that there was anything wrong with sort of what he said. And some of them might have even thought that, oh, that's a funny put down, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I wonder, because a lot of those people that wouldn't have thought that wouldn't probably, if they're going to watch anything, they'll watch Sky. So they would have seen Jordan Steele John. And hopefully, maybe those people will get an education to why it is wrong and why it does need to be educated. There's no doubt about it. He's 100% correct on that front, and we just need to do a lot better. But it needs to go right across the whole parliament. I think what we probably lose a little bit here is because Bill Shorten wasn't there, and Bill Shorten is a hardcore advocate for disability. He's been fighting for it since. And I just wonder if Bill was there. I wonder what he would have said. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know Bill as a friend, but I know him quite well. I've had quite a few chats with him, and he's a decent sort of guy, and he actually had some really good ideas. When he didn't get voted in, he could have been one of the best prime ministers we didn't have, because he would actually make a decision. But
exactly.
but thank you for bringing that to the blurt,
No,
Wency.
right.
Because we definitely need to know about that. And, it definitely needs to be called out, and we definitely need to be educated on it.
Yeah,
Something else, unfortunately, we might need to be educated on is what I'm about to play. So it only goes for a couple of minutes, but this is called War Game. It's a new movie that's just come out. And if you have a bit of a listen and a look, you'll understand why I'm sort of under my breath when I'm speaking, because it's a little scary. So yeah, see how you go.
Wow, frightening. If that's
It is frightening, unfortunately.
It's good to have war games to be prepared, I guess. But yeah, if it comes to life, geez, what's this world going to descend into? That'll be quite interesting. I'll get my popcorn out and just start watching.
Interesting in a really bad way.
Bad way, for sure.
Yes.
I know I'm joking and laughing at it, but I won't
No.
be if it was happening in real life.
Yeah, no.
Laughing because I hope it doesn't.
No, you're laughing through the fear. No, I understand that. That is a very, very normal thing to do. And no segue at all. George Negus. Have you got something on George there? I've got a little bit. If you,
I heard was the passing of George Negus. I do have a little video, but if you want to quickly chat about it, if you've got any more information about it, because this was sort of hot off the press for us before we came on the show.
Absolutely. Well, what I can tell you is that George Negus was a pioneering figure, Australian journalist, and he was 82, passed away today with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a horrible disease, absolutely horrible. And I don't wish that on anyone. But he was born in 42, began his professional life as a high school teacher before transitioning to journalism. I did not know that. And he had a down-to-earth approach. He did. He was on the SBS for a long time. I think he did foreign correspondent, if I'm correct, I think. And, sorry, go for it, Wincy.
No, it's just agreeing, yes, that he was on foreign correspondent. I'm pretty confident as well.
And he did 60 Minutes for a while. But I've got a feeling he didn't do it as long as we think he did. But you sort of remember seeing him.
Yeah, I definitely used to watch him. Was it 80s, 90s even?
Yeah, so 79 to 86, he was on 60 Minutes.
When?
79 to 86.
86, well, there you go, 7 years.
And he later hosted, it wasn't Foreign Correspondent, that's on the ABC. Dateline was on SBS.
Right,
Dateline, yes. Which was really, really good.
Yeah.
But it does say, including Foreign Correspondent on ABC. So
yeah, there you go.
It was on both. Yeah. But I was actually thinking of Dateline. But he was a cracker, absolute cracker, no doubt about it whatsoever. Sadly, in 2022, he was diagnosed with dementia. So that's incredible. Only 2 years and straight down the gurgler, which is not great. What I can say is someone who has dementia / Alzheimer's in the family, it's not great. So, it's sort of a bit of a blessing in disguise when they are sort of gone for their sake and for everyone around, because it's sort of like having a dead person there, but you know they're there, but you can't talk to them.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anyone personally, but I know there's family members on my mother's side who have gone through it. Yeah, and they deteriorate quite quickly. Like you said, 2 years for George Negus from diagnosis. Obviously, they must have it for years beforehand, but there's signs and things like that. But yeah, once it's been medically diagnosed, yeah, they do often go downhill pretty quick.
Yeah, it's true. So we do have it in our family, and it's not great. So, and it's been in the family for a while. I.e., it's genetic. So because it is genetic, apparently.
Yeah,
apparently it's genetic.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. But anyway, some good stuff. I mean, he was awesome. 82's a pretty good life. I'll be more than happy if I get to 82, although I need to get to 85 because I want to be around for my daughter's 50th. That's my goal. That is my goal. That is my goal. So, and plus I just, would love to hang out as much as I can with the other half. That would be cool, as long as I'm in good nick. So that'd be good. But enough about me. Right, let's go. We need a little bit of was that the end of?
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth, we change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
That is a cracker to listen to, and I look forward to listening to it, but it does go on for a little while. We will make sure we have the link in the show notes, so you will be able to listen to that as well, as you can listen to this.
Welcome to our newest segment, Pole Position.
It is our newest segment, Pole Position, and it's all about where the polls are in the election for 2024 at the moment. And there's a few things happening at the moment. I've been reading quite a few things on the polls, and one of the things that popped up is, do we believe them? Because apparently in 2020 and 2016, apparently they reckon they undercounted MAGA voters for Orangehead in those times. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that the polls in 2016 also estimated that Hillary Clinton had an 85% chance of being president.
Yeah.
So
And look where that ended.
Exactly my point. So, look, and the other thing is, it's interesting. I've heard so much information. Oh no, we can't believe the polls. Da, da, da. But they weren't saying that when Orangehead was way ahead, when Biden was struggling. And I find that
exactly.
I just.
How can you turn around so quickly after a few months and go, no, not going to believe those polls now. Doesn't suit me.
Yeah, but that's even the media though. It's not just Orangehead. It's
true. True.
Actually, I've got a little bit of Orangehead here. I think. No. Well, it's all right. Well, we will see him for a little bit, but okay. I've got a feeling, I'm not sure, but he may be talking about his toilet habits. So we'll just see if that is the case. Maybe talking about his toilet habits. Just not sure on this one.
Okay.
Wency's just perplexed. Completely perplexed.
Very perplexed.
No, he's got nothing to say. Nothing to say. But, I loved it when he said, I've just done this one now. And considering most people think he wears a nappy, I just find that hilarious. So
I didn't know that he wore diapers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They reckon that. They reckon, and because Adam Kinzinger came out, who's a Republican who was on the Jan 6 committee. He came out a while ago and said, "Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near the guy. He stinks of like Pino clean and shit at the same time. You know that lovely smell?
Yeah, gross.
He smells like that apparently 24/7. So it's pretty horrible." But yeah. So let's not dwell on that.
That explains the facial expression of Melania every time she was around him.
Probably 100% correct, I would think. So the swing state polls are tight in 7 of the key battleground states: Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Trump leads in Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, and Harris leads in Nevada. She holds a narrow lead in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Polls in these states are volatile with frequent shifts and margin of error variations. Yeah, I mean, the margin of error is 4, and I think it's only about anywhere between 1 and 3 in all of those states. And it must be a hard decision. You've got Kamala Harris, who is like a normal person, and then the other person for a choice is a rapist, racist, pedophile-loving, fraudulent, adulterer, shocking businessman. Who even cares about that? I think the first 5, to be honest with you, probably the first 2.
Yeah.
Rapist, racist.
I was going to say, as soon as you said rapist, I would have thought, yeah, okay. Do I really want to vote for this guy? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. That's
what
phenomenal.
I want in a president.
Wow. Anyway,
yeah,
the electoral college system, the total of 538 electoral college votes are up for grabs.
Involved and we're the
yes, that's exactly right. Well, that's another thing. The bloody fire union over there apparently are endorsing Orangehead. You're like,
jeez.
How dumb are they? Seriously. With 270 needed to win, most states reliably vote for the same party, making swing states crucial. Harris' campaign focused on recapturing the Democratic strongholds that Trump flipped in 2016. In 2020, Biden grabbed Georgia and Arizona. I remember watching the Arizona count live, and that's when Trump lost his shit completely. Because Arizona, I think, was the last one called, and it's going to be exactly the same this time because the Georgia board of poll watchers are just dickheads completely, and so therefore they now have to hand count all the votes. They didn't have to, but they made another law, etc., etc. So, as I said before, poll reliability, polls underestimated Trump support, blah, blah, blah. Polling adjustments aim to reflect the diverse voting population. Swing states polls show close races making outcomes difficult, blah, 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 blah. So, really, at the end of the day, what it's about is turnout. It's all about turnout. So,
that is so true.
Yeah, no, it's all about turnout. Yeah, so absolutely. So if the Dems can get their people out to vote, she should win. Well, I personally think she's going to win pretty easily, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally naive. But
that's what I'm hoping so. But I might fill you in a little bit when I get to my section.
Yeah, nice. We'll go for it now, my friend.
Okay. All right. Good little segue then. There is a gentleman by the name of Alan Lichtman. He has been predicting US elections for a while now, and he studied a bunch of elections and the lead up to elections for the last 60 or 80 years, and worked out an algorithm, or actually what he calls the keys to the White House, as in the lockable device. And there are 13 keys that he's been able to predict, especially the last few. He even predicted Trump winning in 2016 based off these key indicators.
Michael Moore predicted that too.
As well, yeah.
But he predicts Harris on this one.
Oh, he does, yeah. So there's 2. So you're saying Michael Moore. Now this guy, Alan Rickman, is also predicting Harris winning, despite what the polls say. Based on these 13 indicators. I'll quickly go through them all. Party mandate. After the midterm elections, the incumbent party holds more seats in the US House of Reps. Number 2, contest. There is no serious contest for the incumbent party nomination. Incumbency. The incumbent party candidate is the sitting president. 4th, third party. There are no significant third party or independent campaigns, which I don't think pretty rarely happens in the US elections, unlike here in Australia where we have the Greens, Democrats, who are the third party. 5th on the list is short-term economy, whether the economy is in recession or not. 6th on the list is long-term economy, real per capita economic growth during the term equals or exceeds mean growth during the previous 2 terms. Policy change is the 7th on the list. Social unrest during that term. So in Biden's case, that hasn't been that much compared to Trump in his presidency. 9th is scandal. The incumbent administration is untainted by major scandal. It's sort of on the fence with Biden. He's got a few things there. Harris, we don't know much because she's only new. 10th on the list is foreign military failure. The incumbent administration suffers no major failure in foreign or military affairs. That's up for debate at the moment with the Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine, Russia. 11 on the list is foreign military success. The incumbent administration achieves a major success in foreign or military affairs. Second last on the list is incumbent charisma. The incumbent party candidate is charismatic or a national hero. And last one is challenger charisma. The challenging party is not charismatic or a national hero. So according to Alan, Harris is leading in more than 6 of these indicators.
Keys.
So,
and how many keys does she need to?
As long as you get 6 or more. And
6 or more. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's the predictor. So he's gone through these indicators to all the other elections in the past. And for Harris, she's in the lead by a couple.
I've heard, it's interesting, I've heard him on interview with Planet America with Chaz.
Oh, yeah.
And Chaz is not a Labor or Liberal. Chaz is a libertarian. He's very much a libertarian, and he is very anti-Biden. I've heard him be very anti-Biden for a long time. He can't stand Trump, but he's very anti-Biden. I'd say he's almost anti-Kamala, but at times I'm not quite sure. But he was definitely anti-Alan Lim at that time.
Really?
Definitely. Oh, yeah, they had a nice little interview. He asked him some questions that Alan wasn't very happy to answer. But, I mean, Chaz has got away because, Chaz knows he's a little bit spectrumy. And so, therefore, when he asks questions, they can be without a sort of a social conscience. Sometimes they don't come through as diplomatically as, say, David Smith will ask a question, and it would be far more diplomatic sort of thing.
Yeah. Chaz is like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is. You couldn't be more spot on than that. There's no doubt about it. So, but anyway, so it's really interesting. It is interesting. I know he's already picked her to win, so it'll be interesting. How many has he picked, does he say?
That I didn't get, but yeah, more than 6. So 6 out of 13, that's more than half. Nearly half. So 7, I think. Yeah.
So he picked Trump and he picked Obama, which wouldn't have been hard.
Yeah.
So did he pick Biden?
He did pick Biden.
Okay.
So he's picked the last few. So
that's not. If you pick Biden, that's not a bad one.
Yeah, he's got a near perfect record.
Well, as I said before, Biden won Georgia by 0.23%. There's your 11,780 votes we've spoken about on the show many times.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So it's scary stuff. But stuff that's not quite as scary and slightly uplifting is...
On Indelible Indigenous, I know we're running very short on time, so much to talk about. I'm going to talk about Neville Bonner. As you mentioned in the intro, I did mention him a few weeks ago when they announced the new bridge that's going from the new casino in Brisbane City to South Bank. They named it after Neville Bonner. And that's when I decided, right, next time we do Indelible, guess what I'm doing? So before I do get started, little warning for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who will be watching or listening, that this story will include references to and images of names of people who are now deceased. So Neville Bonner was born just on the other side of Queensland in New South Wales on the Tweed River. In Euchrebah Island in New South Wales. He was born in a mixed race family. So his mother was First Nations, father was an English migrant. He was born in 1922, just 3 days after my birthday, but not in 1922. That was 50 years before my birthday. So I was 25th. So yes. So his mother died at the age when he was only 10 years old. He was brought up by his grandmother after that, after which she passed away, sadly, 3 years later. So he was only 13 at the time. He then went off to work various places, sugarcane, labouring work all over the place, especially up north. Lived on islands and things like that. He then got involved in Opal, which was a group called One People of Australia League, which had been established in 1961. And its purpose was to advance Aboriginal issues in Queensland. He became president of that organisation between 1968 and 1974. He then got into politics by becoming a member of the Liberal Party, and soon after becoming a Liberal, there was a vacancy in the federal Senate after someone resigned, and he was put forward to fill in that spot. I don't think they had by-elections at that time, because it would have been a by-election if that happens now.
It's hard to believe that Neville Bonner was in the Liberal Party. I would have thought, I wouldn't, probably Labor at that time. What year are we talking?
Late 60s, early 70s. So you've got to remember, the Liberal Party was a different to what
there were quite a different kettle of fish. Yeah. We're talking Fraser, aren't we?
Yeah, just before Fraser. But
because he had a real social conscience, so sort of makes sense, I suppose, maybe.
Yeah, so the Liberals were good at one point in history. So Neville Bonner became the first Indigenous senator as a result, federal senator, in 1974, I think it was. 1979, he was jointly named Australian of the Year with Harry Butler, who was a naturalist, not someone who takes their togs off. Not someone who gets in the...
Harry Butler?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're talking. You were thinking about what's his name? Who had the girlfriend that used to be on a ship? Is that the guy? Alvy Mangles? Is that who you think?
Alvy Mangles. Oh, there's a name I haven't heard in years.
Yes, Alvy Mangles. He used to have his partner who would sort of, drape around in a bikini all the time, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So when you're young, that was good TV.
Yes, you learnt a lot on TV back then.
But Harry Butler, I loved Harry Butler. Yeah. That was my favourite show. That and Simon Townsend's Wonderworld. I just loved it.
Oh, that's right. So good. Yes. 1984, Neville was appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia, an AO. Other achievements, he's got a scholarship at Griffith University, which is a Queensland university named after him. That scholarship is for students who have experienced financial hardship and educational disadvantage. He sadly passed away on 5th of Feb 1999, so didn't quite make it to the 2000s. I think it was lung cancer. I did have that in my notes somewhere, but I've lost it. But I think it was lung cancer.
Was he a smoker? I assume he was.
Yeah, I assume he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have more links and videos in the show notes.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Brilliant.
Especially there's this one long doco that's freely available, and it goes through his whole story. So quite interesting, that one. Yes.
I look forward to reading that one. And as Wency just said, everything you've heard on the show tonight till the end of the show will definitely be in the show notes, so you can get your hands on all that stuff. As usual, Wency, brilliant stuff. And I really got a lot of time for Neville Bonner, definitely, no doubt about it whatsoever. What I want to talk about today is slightly different to what we normally do, because we do Indelible Indigenous, which is our Indigenous. I thought, considering it's actually National Indigenous Day in America, which used to be called not National, but Columbus Day, they renamed it, which is really good. I thought we should maybe just have a chat about that, considering it's either, it's just gone past or it's just about to be. I'm pretty sure that, the holiday, it's hard to get the days right because we're like a day behind, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, when I had a meeting with the states this morning, they had the day off because it was international, not international, but, Indigenous Peoples Day. The event comes across the US comes 2 years after President Joe Biden officially commemorated Indigenous Peoples Day. Increasing number of states and cities that have also recognised it, pivoting from a day-long rooted in the celebration of explorer Christopher Columbus. This day about is reclaiming history, said Kyle Mays, an associate professor of American India Studies at the University of California. It's acknowledging the history of dispossession, violence, and against Indigenous people, which is very much what we acknowledge on this show when we do Indelible Indigenous. So it's like we're talking about Australia. It's just so
parallels.
Yeah, it really is. This obviously this link will be in the show notes as well. It's been recognised for decades in different forms and under a variety of names to celebrate Native American history and culture, to recognise the challenges that they still face. So in 2021, it's quite a big article, so I will cut it a little bit, but it will be in the show notes. Biden issued the first ever presidential proclamation of the Indigenous Peoples Day. So, as said, only a couple of years ago, he said in a statement that the day is meant to honour America's first inhabitants and tribal nations that continue to thrive today. So, Columbus was a lost explorer who stumbled into this part of the world and brought famine, colonisation, the deaths of millions of Indigenous people, said Nick Tilson, the president of the CEO of the NDN Collective. I think that's Native, I can't remember what this stands for, but an Indigenous-led advocacy group for this country. To celebrate that history is absolutely disrespectful, which is exactly the same thing we say about Australia Day.
Yeah,
so, it's a lot of that going on, a lot of that going around. So that's all I'm going to say about Indigenous Peoples Day. But happy Indigenous Peoples Day. So happy that it is recognised now. And, well done, Biden, for doing it.
Yeah, for getting it started. Yeah,
absolutely. Well done, America, for starting to celebrate it. It's very, very good.
Mm.
Good news. Something else is good. We are just going to take a quick break and we will be back with Let's Get Technical.
Blurtstar says, let's get technical.
The human has been neutralized.
Yes, I do too. I haven't heard it for a while, so but I'm like you. I really do enjoy that sting. Now, what I thought I might just bring to the table, this is quite interesting, actually. Google has just come out with an AI podcast notebook. And I'm going to read a little bit from the article, but then I'm going to play 3 minutes of a podcast that I created before the show from one of our podcasts they have fully
take over our jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting what you think of it. So the male AI host says it was shoplifting for hiking boots, and shortly after noticed Facebook started showing ads for boots. I thought I was going crazy. The AI says that a fake person talking about a real thing that happens. After the wonder of hearing an AI chat with itself faded, I saw something bigger, a new way for people to learn and do research about all things. It's Cliff Notes, but democratized to any book. Cliff Notes, I think, are in Substack, I believe. Cliff Notes, I think. That's fun and could be, it's all about, sort of blogging and those sort of things. That's fun and could be empowering. If, like with so many other uses for AI, we acknowledge its shortcomings, which we just did. Notebook LM is free to use, and it's one of the first viral hits for Google. Many efforts to turn Gemini AI into a practical product. Now, I've used Gemini AI a few times. It's actually called Bard, Google Bard.
Used to be.
And what's it gone back again?
Yeah, it's Gemini moving forward.
You're kidding?
No.
Because it was Google Bard.
Yeah,
and now they've.
Until recently, it's all Gemini.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I'd love to know if they've improved it because it wasn't very good before. ChatGPT just craps on everything at the moment. So, but the other Gen AI is Amazon Q Developer, which is particularly good if you're in coding and you work with Amazon Web Services. A lot of good stuff there, but anything outside of that, not so good. Whereas ChatGPT just the amount of data that thing's been fed with, it's pretty good. So there's been a tweet about this podcast, and I believe this podcast is a fake podcast, but Deep Dive is now my favourite podcast. The more I listen, the more I feel like I'm becoming friends with the host, and I think this first time I've actually viscerally liked an AI. 2 AIs. They are fun, engaging, thoughtful, open-minded, curious. Okay, I'll stop now. So that was a tweet.
Wow.
That was a tweet from someone talking about how good the AI generated podcast was. Oh, my God. So, seriously. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of that in a minute. And I'll have this, obviously, in the show notes. I'm just going to go to the bottom because we are sort of running out of time a little bit. It's a very big article. So just bear with me on the last bit because I just want to talk about the last bit here. So, can AI really do the reading for you? So Notebook LM, I kept thinking about a recent article in The Atlantic. Since the arrival of ChatGPT nearly 2 years ago, educators have been ringing alarm bells, as we are right now, about students using AI to write their assignments and all those sort of things. Google's Johnson said he uploaded the entire contents of a book he had written to Notebook LM and was surprised how much value he could get out of the AI experience. And he wrote the book. Yeah. It's another way into the book that was never really possible unless you could find the author and have a conversation, he says. There is no replacement for reading the actual thing. But among the educators I've spoken to, they're concerned about accuracy, privacy, the potential of creating new inequalities between students who have access to AI. When I was on the ATO the other day, they kept talking to me saying, oh, well, you can use your voice as your password. I said, yes, I know I can do that. Do you want to do that? No, I don't. No, I don't.
Considering AI can mimic your voice, no thanks.
I'm like, thanks for asking, but I'm in IT, and no, it's not happening.
No.
So, but they're trying to get you to do that everywhere now. I don't know if you've noticed. If you ring up somewhere and they want your password, they go, do you want to record your voice? And you can have the password as your voice. It happens with many, especially government places now. So look out for it next time you ring a government place. Okay. I think Vig Roads does it.
Right. Okay.
Queensland roadie thing might do it too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, don't know.
But
TMR for those playing at home.
Transport
Main roads, I think it stands for.
Oh, I thought you meant too much rambling.
Yeah, speaking of which, get on with the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to. I am definitely trying to. Eden says AI summary is just like watching the movie version of a piece of classic literature. The key for the future will be teaching students not to be dependent on it and to question or verify what the AI has to say. Well, saying that, let's listen to what the AI does have to say. So this is 3 minutes of the AI picking up some stuff from our podcast.
So we're listening to ourselves. Wow. Okay.
Did you feel slightly intimidated?
I'd listen to that podcast. That is awesome. I love the content. Wow, that is such a departure from the way we deliver.
It is. It is. We talk over each other like normal people do, and it's just it's so sterile. Like you can hear how sterile it is. It's
But so many podcasts are like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose so. But it's so American too.
Yeah.
So American. It's just But there are some. Yeah, it is scary. There are some terms they used in there. I was writing down, going, "I want to use the one. If I want to use it on." So I might listen to it again actually, and see if I can get some good oil out of it. You know,
get some good ideas on
absolutely
improving this show.
Yeah, well, absolutely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide the link to the full 13-minute podcast that it created. See what people think. So
right.
There you go.
Sounds good.
That's me done, my friend. All done.
I'm going to quickly zip through my segment. It's been very much Musk heavy this show. This one I'm going to talk about the latest with SpaceX, Elon's venture into space, because it's all sciencey stuff and really exciting stuff for me. I'm putting his personality aside on this one. The SpaceX has achieved a milestone in that they've been able to fire a rocket up into space. It went up for 6 minutes. The main capsule, which is a bigger version of the space shuttle, landed safely in the ocean. But the rocket booster, which normally gets discarded as waste in normal practice for space travel, this one was actually caught in mid-flight. So I'm just going to let you watch this and see it. So here's the booster coming back to Earth. And there it is, about to be picked up by the chopsticks. So these ones are colloquially called as the chopsticks.
Okay, I hate Alien Head, but that's pretty amazing.
It is. That's why, like I said before, I'm putting aside his personality and his political views to see this in reality, where something can actually be reused, is a good thing for the planet, good thing for space travel. Yeah, and it's just perfect technology. It's just getting better and better as they keep pushing the limits with their space travel. Obviously, this is all for commercial purposes. NASA has engaged SpaceX to create a lot of these rockets, which obviously will go to the moon and potentially Mars in a few decades' time, or years, even if it's that quick. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting and fascinating, and just loved it.
It is interesting and it is fascinating. It's unbelievable how that thing radars back into where it was. It's nuts.
It's like
so rather than coming, rather than just falling off, coming to Earth, making debris and polluting the ground, it just goes back neatly to where. That's amazing.
Refuel it. So the idea is that within 1 hour they can refuel it and take off again.
The only problem is, I imagine that the refuel is all fossil fuels still.
Of course, yeah, still. I'm sure it could be nuclear at some point. That'll be a lot better for the environment. Still not safe, especially
apart from the nuclear waste.
The nuclear waste, but yeah, it's that age-old argument: nuclear, fossil fuel. Which one's better if you're going to use it for something like this?
Well, I know it's hard for you because you've got such a spacey background, but I don't. And so I'd be more than happy if we never, ever go to space ever again and we spend all our money on fixing the climate.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's me. Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Yeah, that is true.
I would be rapt if we didn't bother, because we just, from my personal opinion, we're just wasting so much money going somewhere doing nothing, and where we could be doing something for a planet that we know it's dying.
Yeah.
So,
dying or getting fucked over.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And does that mean we're going to stuff up another planet or moon? Yes.
Yes,
absolutely,
without a doubt. And on that cheery note.
Yes, it's been a long one, this one. And,
it has been a long one. It has been a very long one. And it's been a good one too. Potty will be out probably around about the same time, Monday.
Monday or earlier, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been getting good with timing. We're up to, I think, 12,000, getting up to 12.5, whatever it is, downloads at the moment. So thank you for that, people that are listening to the pod and enjoying it. We're enjoying bringing it to you. We will be back next week again with another episode of The New Blurt. So until then, it's a good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Bye.
The New Blurt is brought to you by Wency and Kickster, usually on a Tuesday evening. You can catch us on all the socials, as they say, the Blurt YouTube channel. We have a Twitter Blurt handle, and there is a Blurt Star Facebook page as well. So, if you're interested in getting in touch, it's blurtstar@gmail.com. And we will get back to you as soon as we can if you've got any questions. Until next week, there'll be another feed coming at you.
Has been a Get Off the Glass Productions, brought to you by Wency and Kickster.